The target is to ensure that by 2030, all Ugandans have access to clean cooking, really. So in what aspect does really biogas cooking enhance environmental preservation?
Biogas starts with waste.
Yes.
With organic waste. What most people do not know is that what firewood can do, biogas can do.
Hello everyone, welcome to the latest episode of our podcast, Driving Eco-Sustainability, My Perspective, and once again I'm your host Grace. In this place we always have impactful conversation around climate change and environment sustainability. Today I'm pleased to be joined by Ethol Amanda Bagagga, the founder of EcoErudites Uganda, an African winner of 2024 of the Total Energies Startup and a UN Global Challenge winner. She's going to be sharing about how we are going to demystify all the myths we have about use of biogas in household use. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So Ethol, if I've left out anything, this is your opportunity to share more with our viewers and our listeners. Who is Ethol, and how do you come to be part of this journey, basically? How does climate change activism, environmental conservation, environmental protection look to you from the perspective of advancing the cause for biogas use?
First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for creating this platform for us to have such conversations. It is really important that we address these things because I believe this is how we create awareness on all the work that is going on out there by having such conversations. Because at the end of the day, people get to know all the opportunities they have and alternatives they have in regard to environmental conservation.
Yes.
And the exact role they can play in this regard. So Ethol is a Christian.
Yes.
She's a member of Christ Heart Ministries International.
Yes.
She is also the founder and managing director at EcoErudites Uganda. And what we are doing really at EcoErudites is that we are working with organic waste. Any kind of waste that rots, as long as it can decompose, as long as it rots, we are working with that kind of waste and converting it into sustainable cooking fuel biogas.
Yes.
So over time, our first pilot waste we've been working with really is the water hyacinth. So it is a floating weed, mostly on water.
Yes.
Lake Victoria, any
River
place
Nile.
any place that
Yes,
is
what
flooded, that has water, and that water somehow gets contaminated, you'll find that weed there.
Okay.
So that has been the first organic waste, plant waste that we've worked with, and we found it very, very effective in giving us biogas.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes. So someone out there is wondering. They always hear biogas this, biogas that. Someone is wondering. So basically, what is biogas really? So other than water hyacinth, what are those other things that are used and the components of biogas? Because personally, at least from what I know back then when we were studying in school, the only thing I knew about biogas is that it's made from waste. And back then in school, it was more around food waste, really, I think. Yeah. So what are those components that make up biogas? And in layman's terms, what's biogas really?
So I will start with the gas that people know. People know LPG.
Yes.
People know LPG. It is the common one. It is the one that is being sold everywhere. We talk about cooking gas. You're looking at Total. You're looking at Shell.
Yes.
There is that gas. Now that is called LPG, liquefied petroleum gas.
Yes.
But now the difference is that biogas is like that gas, but it is not that gas. How is it? While LPG comes from extraction of fossil fuels and it comes through, biogas comes out of organic waste.
Yes.
You subject organic waste to any kind of decomposition. And then decomposition, then it goes through anaerobic digestion, that kind of containment where there's no oxygen coming through.
Yes.
And then it's giving off methane rather than oxygen. Yeah. So biogas is basically a mixture of gases, because during that entire process of decomposition, very many gases come out. You have the methane, there's carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide. All this entire mixture is the biogas. So in layman, biogas is gas that comes out of organic waste that has gone through anaerobic digestion in an airtight container.
Okay.
Yeah. So biogas is basically that. It's a mixture of methane, hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide, water. So it's just really a mixture of these things.
Yes.
So when you heat it, it will cook, because, like I mentioned, it contains methane, and methane is that component that burns. Yeah, and methane being the highest, having the highest percentage of about 50 to 60%, depending on the kind of waste you have used, being the more dominant.
Yes.
Meaning when lit, it will burn, it will cook. Yeah. So to get biogas, you can look at any kind of waste, really, as long as it rots.
Yes.
There's the kitchen waste, food waste. There's the plant waste, like I mentioned, the water hyacinth.
Yes.
There's the animal waste, cow dung, pig dung, chicken waste. And then there's also the waste that people don't like to hear, but even human waste can give you biogas. Yeah.
Yes. So I guess that's the point where people feel that biogas is made, or there is this belief that biogas has a very bad odor. So I guess that's why people usually do not want to talk about the component of human waste.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think what I've picked also is the fact that organic waste is waste that easily decomposes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Organic waste must decompose.
Yes. Not this Cavera plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So briefly, take us through the steps of making biogas. Just in case, yes, I have my food waste, because we are always throwing away food in our daily lives and in our homes, food that we don't eat or food that has expired. So what are those steps that you usually take that you could share in making biogas, from the step of getting the food waste up to the time of lighting or using it to cook, really?
Yeah. So, starting with organic waste, starting from the place of getting the waste itself before we go to the setup itself.
Yes.
I would like to make it clear that how you collect the waste is also very important. This waste must be organic, purely organic. We've not added any chemicals. We've not poured soap water in this waste. We've not poured jik, all these cleaning things in this waste. So the very first step of getting biogas is making sure that you have clean waste, if I can use that word. The waste must be waste in its waste form.
Ironically, it has to be clean waste.
It has to be clean. That's interesting. It has to be clean and in good. It's interesting how when you tell someone this, I'm thinking, okay.
Yes.
But it has to be good for it to work. Because these external cleaning stuff kill what is supposed to actually work on this waste to decompose. So it has to be in a good state. So sorting at source is very important. You separate the caveras, all these things that don't decompose. We separate them from the waste itself, and we make sure we have purely stuff that we wrote, organic waste. If it is kitchen food, can we pull out these boveras?
Yes.
Can we pull out all these packaging things and have it clean in its natural form? So going from that step, we have a setup. You need to have a setup, because biogas, like I mentioned, happens in an airtight container. That must not get any oxygen to come through. Yeah, it must not have any oxygen coming through, because at the end of the day, we want to be able to give off methane, and methane happens in oxygen-free areas.
Yes.
Yeah. So if it is in an airtight container, and we subject it into that container, it will give off the biogas. However, it is important to introduce cow dung, particularly because cow dung contains the right bacteria, the anaerobes that break down this waste to give off the methane. So if it is kitchen waste, if it is food waste, if it is human waste, it is important to keep adding the element of the cow dung, because cow dung, like I mentioned, contains those anaerobes. Yeah.
Yes.
So in Uganda today, there are setups available. There's a floating dome that's like a bag that you can you sort of dig a place. You have some space and they dig and they fit it in.
I think
and
I've
then,
seen those.
Yeah, and then you feed and you feed through. And then there's a fixed dome where people dig underground and they build a system underground with cement, with bricks, so that it is purely airtight. And the beauty with a fixed dome is that there's enough temperature. The temperatures don't fluctuate like the floating dome. They do not fluctuate. Because of the heat conditions underground, the temperature is constant. That you will always produce, irrespective of whether it is shining or it's not shining. Yeah. So basically, those are the two systems available on the market that are the most common, and I believe they are the most affordable to anyone with this kind of waste going around. Yeah.
Yes. Now, one of the key features of biogas is that it's affordable. And one of the key features of renewable energy, or at least why it's being advanced and why we should use more of renewable energy than fossil fuel energy, is the fact that its resources are readily available in abundance. So what makes biogas to be classified as renewable and also environmentally sustainable?
Now, for something to be renewable, it means that it has to be able to be replenished naturally. So for it to come back, so once its cycle ends, it is able to come back on its own naturally, or with even some human intervention. Yeah, that is what renewable in this aspect means. So when it comes to being environmentally friendly, that means that during using this cooking source, it must emit little or no greenhouse gas emissions. Like those emissions must be very few.
Yes.
So in the case of biogas, like I mentioned, we are burning methane. Methane is produced from this organic waste.
Yes.
And now when it is produced, we collect it and we burn it. And when we are burning it, we are actually cooking. So it's providing a fuel. Rather than emitting to the atmosphere, we are putting it to use. Yeah, and at the end of the day, you are not now going to use firewood. You see the alternative it provides.
Yes.
So instead of using the firewood that is actually going to emit the carbon dioxide, the greenhouse gas, you're now burning methane, the greenhouse gas.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, it's a win.
Yes.
A very big win. Yeah.
Yes. So now, at that point, should we say that in fact biogas enhances environment preservation, really? And in what aspect does it do this? Because we are looking at the fact that, yes, it's a form of clean cooking because you're substituting use of fuel. Yes, fossil fuels, and you're using biogas.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it from the perspective that according to our energy transition plan, the target is to ensure that by 2030, all Ugandans have access to clean cooking, really. So in what aspect does really biogas cooking enhance environment preservation? Because even at the backdrop of the energy transition plan was the belief that majority of the people in Uganda are still using biomass. We are cutting trees.
Yeah.
We are using kerosene. And kerosene is a source of indoor air pollution. Accidents in homes, indoor air poisoning. So how, in the grander scheme of things, is the use of biogas enhancing environmental preservation, in the fact that I would like to believe it's saving our forests? That is the little I would say about it. But in the grander scheme of things, how is it enhancing environmental preservation, basically?
So like I mentioned from the very start, biogas starts with waste.
Yes.
With organic waste. Now, organic waste on its own, that could be an entirely different conversation. Organic waste on its own is not, when not sorted properly, and you've, like, for example, in a landfill, most landfills or dumping sites, you have that waste coming through, and because they have not really been constructed in a good manner to be a proper landfill, because from a landfill you're supposed to harness biogas, but like a dumping site like the one that was in Chiteze, all kinds of waste went there. Yeah. And most times they weren't really sorted. So you have organic waste in that dumping site giving off this methane. Methane, the greenhouse gas.
Yes.
We shall keep going back to
Yes.
that greenhouse gas. So meaning at the very start, we are using this organic waste that is actually just going to give off this methane, a very big problem, and we are converting it into something useful. Now, coming back to the biogas itself, you're going to cook with this methane. You're going to burn methane and use it to cook. So meaning every time you're cooking with biogas, you're not going to cook with firewood.
Yes.
Because what most people do not know is that what firewood can do, biogas can do. Biogas can cook beans, dry beans, cook them from the very start to the end, and they'll get ready and they'll still have the same flavor. Yeah, biogas can do that. So in line with environmental conservation, biogas provides a sustainable cooking option, because even in the when there was a ban on this charcoal, government didn't really come out to give people alternatives. They just burnt charcoal. But you see, if the Ministry of Energy had come out and said, you know what, yes, they've burnt charcoal, but we have these alternatives. Look, consider biogas, consider briquettes, consider this. So meaning they were trying to conserve trees and so people don't keep cutting them down to get firewood. But if they had made us mass sensitization on the options that are available, perhaps things would be different. Yeah.
Yes.
Use that very same time, that time window, because of course after time the charcoal came back.
Yes.
Ugandan things.
Yes.
But that time window, there could have been a massive change. Yeah.
Yes.
So biogas conserves the environment by providing an alternative, a sustainable alternative that also sorts the waste problem that we have as a country.
Yes.
Because you as an individual, you produce so much waste, up to 20 kilos every day of organic waste. As an individual, you yourself. So if all this waste is harnessed and converted, we shall not keep cutting down trees.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, Ethel, now at that point, I'm interested, having understood that, yes, biogas actually kills more than two birds with one stone. You're dealing with the waste issue. You're tackling the waste issue. You're also enhancing energy access. And the energy access you're enhancing is access to affordable, renewable energy.
Yeah.
So yes, now it's at that point that I come to ask that, as someone who has been in this space for a while, what are some of those common myths that you've had to demystify, that you've had to address with people, that you've had to convince them about, to dispel and get rid of if they are going to adopt biogas use? Because as personally, I'll start from my personal view. I think the only thing I would have known about biogas is what I remember is the pungent smell or the penetrating smell all through the process of production. So what are some of those myths that you've had to dispel?
So I think the first myth is the smell.
Yes.
Now, what people do not know is that, yes, biogas smells on its own. That is true. It smells. But during a biogas setup, a proper biogas setup, it is designed in such a way to filter out that smell. Because like I mentioned from the very start, biogas is composed of very many gases. It has the methane, it has the carbon dioxide, it has water, H2O, and it has hydrogen sulfide. Now, the part of biogas that smells, that is responsible for the smell, is the hydrogen sulfide. Now, when we are building this biogas system for you, we filter out hydrogen sulfide, so that by the time the gas comes to you, it is not smelling. Yeah, that is one thing people don't fail to understand.
Okay.
Because we filter the digester system, even during the piping, we introduce iron steel wood to just basically pick out the hydrogen sulfide, because that's what makes biogas smell. So by the time you're cooking, it is not going to smell. It is odor free.
Okay.
Yeah, yes. So I think the second myth is that biogas is expensive. Yeah, at the very start, it might seem a little bit costly, but of recent there are actually government programs, there are incentives
Yes.
that reduce the cost of a biogas setup up to 40%. So I'll give an example of a floating dome digester. That digester was at the 6 cubic was at 2.3, yeah, but it has been reduced up to 1.6, 1.5, 1.6. That is almost 45%, 50% because of subsidies that come in. So you realize that this 1.6 that you're spending on this setup, comparing it with the original price, there has been a great reduction in its price because there have been donations coming in through to make biogas accessible.
Okay.
So the myth that biogas is not affordable it's actually a myth. There are those programs that have come in through to make biogas affordable. Then the third myth was it is complex. No, it is not. It is not, because most people look at the industrial biogas systems and they're thinking, okay, what is this? Yeah. But like I mentioned, there are these small digesters.
Yes.
The small digesters that are available.
Yes.
Very small. Yeah. That you can have wherever you are. And then you just cut through your waste, all sorts of waste you have, and then you subject it, and then you just wait to cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting. Now, at least we are aware that yes, biogas does not smell, biogas is affordable, and biogas is not expensive. Yes.
It is not expensive.
Yes,
it is not, depending on your needs, because all these digester systems that we do for you depend on what your preferences is. How long do you cook? Like a system for a restaurant may not be the same system for a home, because of course a restaurant cooks more than your home. Yeah, because we have biogas systems that will give you gas running for up to 8 hours continuous. You can burn the gas for 8 hours straight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Now something has ticked my mind. Can I use biogas for anything else in my household other than cooking?
Yes. Their systems are available, because there are people that would prefer to convert this gas into electricity.
Okay.
That is possible. There are generators that will convert the biogas into electricity. You can also use it for like ventilation, that warming air, that ventilator thing.
Yes.
Where, what's that word? Air conditioning.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's an option of converting it into electricity and air conditioning as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So now you've mentioned the mere fact that in order to enhance the use of biogas, there is need to demystify all these myths that we have about it. And the mere fact that government's target is to ensure that at least in order to achieve the universal access to clean energy by 2030, there is need to ensure a 10% annual adoption of clean energy. Do you think awareness is lacking really? And if so, how best can we enhance awareness towards adopting these clean energy sources like biogas really?
Yeah. So maybe I'll start from the myth I didn't mention. There are people who think biogas cooks certain things, it cannot cook other things. It can only cook certain food. It can't cook matoke. It cannot cook beans.
Because I think the commonest thing about that is that I think I've also had it with gas.
Yeah.
That when you cook matoke with gas, it won't have that, that natural aroma, that natural traditional taste that we seem to be accustomed to.
But really, what is the difference? You get, it's a mindset thing.
Yes.
Because it is the important thing here, the common aspect in both this cooking is the heat. Same heat value. Yeah. What's the difference? You get? Like I mentioned, the gas that is produced on a daily, there are systems that you will light this gas up to 8 hours non-stop.
Okay.
The gas is going, like it will run 8 hours until you feed again the next day. Yeah. So it is important to enhance biogas adoption that, yes, of course, people understand what biogas is. They understand that, you know what, this is what I thought, but this is what actually it is. So that complete mindset shift. So there is need for continuous sensitization. Yeah. And people to understand that biogas is also an option. Yeah. So just like, yes, there are briquettes, there is solar, there is e-cooking, electric cooking. If any of these options don't work for me, you know what, solar,
yes,
e-cooking, electricity, briquettes, I don't like touching briquettes.
yes,
There's an option of biogas. You can cook without getting really dirty.
yes.
So if people, it is important, the first step in getting that 10% adoption, people need to know. Yeah, because in Kampala here, by the way, people think they can't have biogas. Biogas is for people in the village, people with cows. But really, do you know how much organic food waste is left off every day? Collected from restaurants, collected from everywhere.
I think it is
so much.
Yes.
So much. So if people knew that whatever small size I have, I can get a digester.
Yes.
And all my kitchen waste, I crush it properly, I do all the necessary things and feed it in and cook. Yeah. So there is that need for mindset shift, because most biogas sensitization is actually done in rural areas, and because they have cows, but they do not consider the food waste that comes through.
Yes.
People go ahead to set up buildings and they do not try and even think of how they can align their human waste to still give them to cook. Yeah. And it's interesting. Human waste can cook. It can cook. And that starts from how you build your septic system.
Yes.
So all that is necessary awareness before we even start making all these programs free. Yeah, because you can bring it and you be like, let me give you a biodigester. But because they think it is not good, they won't take it up or they won't value it. So before 2030, there is need for mass sensitization for like 2 years. Spread the gospel.
Yes.
Spread the gospel of biogas. Because in this cooking sector, we are competing so much with charcoal.
Yes.
Charcoal is so common. Everyone knows charcoal.
And it's
expensive, but everyone is still sticking with charcoal. And you're wondering, okay, what is happening? Charcoal compared to all these other things, charcoal is the most expensive. But still people go for charcoal.
Yes.
Yeah, because it is familiar. It has been around. That is what they understand for a long time. So you see, getting them to shift away from that is not going to take a year or just a few days and you'll be like, no. It needs to be continuously repeated.
Yes.
You spread that gospel every day, whether they've heard it or not. You say it again, and until it becomes something that they can start to consider.
Yes.
Because I am in the private sector. Like I mentioned, I do biogas setups. I do grid systems of biogas setups. But that we are competing so much with charcoal. We are competing so much. Like someone would look at it and they'd be like, you know what? Kangule lyanda lyange. Lyemanyi. Yeah. Now, firewood in villages. Think about it. Firewood they don't buy. In rural areas, people don't buy.
Yes, because
firewood.
people have their trees.
Their trees.
Yes.
You get. So how do you get them to adopt biogas? How do you get them to adopt biogas? And unless you preach that gospel.
Yes.
Every day, continuously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think we need massive awareness campaigns.
Yeah.
And also you've mentioned something very key, that this awareness must not only focus on people who are based in rural areas. We must not leave out people in urban areas. And bearing in mind that for us here in Uganda and Africa generally, we are affected a lot by rural-urban migration. So most of the population, which in fact degrades the environment, is in urban settings. So we need also our urban communities for us to understand that they can also use biogas, and not to believe that it's only
for people
safe for use, for people in rural areas. So Ethel, now having been in this space for a while, what are some of those key successes that you've been able to achieve and you've been able to come by in enhancing access to biogas use in our households?
So, like I mentioned, our first pilot was using the water hyacinth.
Yes.
So our very first project was in Boise. So this is a community where there's, of course, the landlord. The landlord has tenants, yeah. But these tenants, of course, every tenant has their kasigiri, yeah. So this setup in Boise, that the landlord created a kitchen, a general kitchen for everyone, and we set up a biogas system. So everyone, like there are about 8 tenants, 8 to 10 tenants, depending on the math, 8 tenants that use that kitchen. So they no longer have to cook with charcoal. Yeah, for me that was our first project that propelled us forward to continue setting up these systems. And right now we are supplying a school with gas in Migade. It's called Amirays. And we have this grid system where we are piping the gas directly to their kitchen, and the gas is going to another household and 3 other households being supplied by one system. And this is a nursery school, nursery and kindergarten and daycare sort of something that goes up to about P2, yeah. And these are very young kids. And their kitchen is small because it's a small school. It doesn't have very many people yet, but the smoke kept on coming through to the classroom because it's on a small space. So seeing them now using firewood that is smoke free, using biogas that is soot free and smoke free, for me it encouraged me.
Yes.
Because now we have from one system we are supplying 3 households and the school, and it's really amazing. Yeah. So there are a couple of other biogas systems we set up. We have one in Luzira, we have one in Magere, and we are going forward. Yeah. We are going forward.
Yes. Now, clearly you have a lot planned, and you have also achieved quite some success in enhancing access to clean cooking and clean energy through biogas. So what is the future looking like for EcoErudites? What's the future looking like for you, Ethel, in this space?
So in this space, before I start talking about EcoErudites, I have made it a point to create awareness on biogas, because very many people do not know. They do not understand the benefits. So for me as Ethel, before I start running Erudites, it is important for me that people understand what biogas is.
Yes.
And create that awareness. Anywhere I go, I tell you biogas. Do you have a biogas system? Do you have a cow? If you have a cow, why are you still using firewood?
Yes.
If you cook and you have so much leftovers, why are you still using charcoal? Sincerely, yeah? And that is what I am looking at, creating this awareness. Because until people are aware, they're not going to take up.
Yes.
If people don't know, they're not going to come and tell you, you know what, come and do for me, prepare for me a system. No. So as EcoErudites, we are looking to do grid systems. Yeah. So like how you have national water.
Yes.
Yeah? National water comes to your place and then it goes to another place and all that. We're looking to have that sort of grid system where we are supplying gas. We have a system that keeps on supplying gas to different people.
Okay.
Yeah, that is what our future looks like. Because one challenge with biogas is that if you do not have, like a tenant, you do not have space for a system. Yeah. So that means you're going to look at other options. But we want you to consider biogas. So if we can pipe this gas directly to where you're cooking from, and then also pipe for the next tenant and have one system coming through, that is good for us. And that would also be good for you. So that is what we are looking at. And we're also in the process of packaging it.
Okay.
Of packaging the gas into systems so that if you do not have access to a grid system, you can have it in a small cylinder and you can still cook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I think most people would be really... I think the cylinder is also a good innovation. The mere fact that now someone could substitute their LPG for a biogas cylinder.
Yeah.
Yes. So now, Ethel, finally, it's really been exciting talking to you.
Yeah.
Yes. So you meet someone. What are some of those, 3 things you would tell them that you feel would convince them to ditch charcoal, to adopt biogas use for good? You meet someone and they are really skeptical. Of course, judging from the fact that naturally in our society, people are skeptical to ditch whatever they are used to ditch charcoal, to ditch 3 stones, to ditch firewood, to adopt new uses of energy. So what are those 3 things you would tell them to encourage them, but to also enable them look to change their energy source of use?
I think the first thing I would talk about is the cost.
Yes.
How much are you spending on charcoal? How much are you spending on firewood on a monthly basis? And then I'll break down the cost even analysis in terms of biogas. Biogas, you do a setup once, and that is it. You just have to feed the system. And of course, what you have to feed the system with is the waste you already have. That is number 1.
Yes.
Number 2 is convenience. Comparing use of charcoal and firewood with biogas that you just light a cavity and you cook with charcoal, and then you're dealing with soot, with smell, with smoke, and then the saucepans, all these things. It's convenience.
Yes.
Number 3 is health-wise. Yeah. We have reports of up to 1,000 deaths every year because of indoor air pollution. Yeah. So comparing all these 3 things, honestly, you look at them from your end and you see all the benefits biogas is giving you. I would encourage you to do biogas.
Yes.
Convenience, cost-wise, health-wise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Convenience, cost, and health benefits. Yes.
Health benefits.
Yes. So now, Ethel, people who are interested in working with you, people who are interested in having these biogas systems set up in their homesteads, set up in schools, set up in their areas of work, basically, where can they find you really?
Yeah, so our offices are located in Migate along Bombo Road. You can visit us. Because even at our office, we have a biogas system already there for those that need to see, okay, what does this look like? What does a flame look like? I want to see. You can still come around. You can give us a call. Yeah, I think I'll share with her my contact or email. You can reach out to her and get my details. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, our viewers and our listeners. It's been an exciting episode here with Ethel. She has been demystifying those myths that you've had for a long time about biogas use. Personally, I've picked that it's convenient, it's affordable, and it's healthy to use in your homestead. What have you picked? You can share with us in our comments section. So for all those who are interested in learning more, who are interested in figuring out how you can contribute to climate action or how you can contribute to environmental sustainability, you can like, you can subscribe, you can share your views in our comment section. I'll be sharing the address of Ethel so that you can reach out to her and you can learn more about how you can acquire biogas or how you can set up the biogas use within your household. I've been your host, Grace. Driving eco-sustainability, my perspective. Let's save our planet. Let's protect nature. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I do value the time that you put in to watch every episode. The entire essence I started this channel was to enhance the reach of the voices of those people who are contributing to the fight against climate change and those who are fighting to save our environment. If you liked this video, click the subscribe button so that you can equally contribute to enhancing awareness towards climate action. Let's save our planet together.